Hi everyone, Diane here, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be painting a Christmas tree with a twist. And you'll soon find out what I'm talking about as soon as we get started. But first of all, I have to tell you which paints I'm using. It's absolutely essential. Now I'm using Kuretake pans and I've taken the colours that I want to focus on using out of the big box of the 48. And I think a couple of them are from the Art Nouveau set as well. And what I'm using these days, and I think some of you will have seen this if you've seen other videos, is I'm using a repurposed little plastic transparent lidded palette which had gold paints in it before. Ones like this here, I'll just show you. These ones came out of here and I've got them in another place at the moment. I'm not using them every day, so I'm just going to pop them over there. And the brilliant thing about this is I always work with a limited palette of about 8 different colours. And I prefer to select them out from my bigger boxes so that I can actually concentrate on what I'm doing a little bit easier. And I think you would probably find this beneficial too. So that's that. And what I've chosen today is Forest Gump Green, Sap Green, Saffron Yellow, Mars Yellow, Vermillion, Rose Madder. This one is Prussian Blue and this is Indigo. And for some strange reason, my brain is actually working better today. So that's a good start, isn't it? Actually managed to get those all without looking it up. I'm using Meeden watercolor paper, as I always do. Actually, it's interesting, just on a side note, when I arrived here in Egypt a few days ago, or a couple of weeks ago now, actually, time does fly, I went to a little local stationery shop and they had a few art supplies and I bought this. And I have absolutely no idea who it's made by. Could be made by anybody. And it was super, super cheap. And I think I'm going to go back and buy some more because the paper is it's almost blue in comparison to this paper, as you can see. But it's actually because it's pure white. Now it looks grey. But see the difference in the colour? And you know what? That actually enhances the brightness of your painting if you want it to look more vivid. And I'll show you what I've done in here. I have done a painting just recently. This isn't for a video, but this is I might do something like this for a video. This is a little owl, and look how vivid he is. And this is also with the Kuretake paint, so I was quite pleased with him. He came out quite well. Maybe I'll frame him. I'll show you him in a frame later. Anyway, so what we're working with is this at the moment, and it is true to say, maybe I'll write to Meeden and tell them they should make their paper a little bit whiter. And that would be good. But some people like it to be an ivory tone too, don't they? But I'll tell you what is much whiter than this. If you want to buy super good paper, is Fabriano. Their paper is much whiter than this. Right, so today what we're going to do, as I say, we're going to paint the Christmas tree with a twist. And what would that twist be? That twist is going to be the following. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to I'm going to mark the points of a triangle. We have one up there, which is just off center, and as you would expect, and I'm going to have one here and one here. So here we have an imaginary triangle. Okay, and as we all know, this is the shape for a Christmas tree. Here is the palette just kind of swooshed out into my daisy. Now, this is just to give me an idea of what my basic colours are. As you can see, I've got a warm and a cool green, I've got a cool and a relatively warm yellow, and a cool and a warm pink or red. And then the same goes for the blues. So inadvertently, without even thinking about it, I've picked a split primary palette. Now, what we're going to do is the following. We're going to take a size 4, I believe this is, brush, and I'm going to use another palette too. I'm going to use this one because this has got a nice big space for mixing. So I'll put that there. And I'm just going to try out a brush stroke. So we'll take some blue, put it there, mix it with some yellow to make a nice green, and I'm going to paint a leaf. And then I'll make the colour change a little bit. Yes. Okay, so that's going to work. this is what we're going to do. At the top of the page, around about here, we're going to put a leaf. I'm going to change the colour slightly. Put another leaf. Change the colour slightly again. These quill brushes are really nice for making leaves. They really are. So I'm painting with, this is Prussian blue, put a bit more in there, and that was Mars yellow. And I'm just mixing the colours. So I'm going to grab my pencil again, and just so that I keep on the right track, I'm going to put in a line here, because I want this to be, you could make a template like we did for those famous 3 trees, and it would be bigger. You could make a template and paint inside it. Or, and I'll tell you what, this is what I'm going to do actually. This is the thing to do, I definitely think. So we'll just take some washi tape, just to make sure that we keep it nice and within the bounds. I didn't think of this until just now, so there we are. I think that should work. Oh. Okay. You could do your leaves bigger or smaller. It's entirely up to you. You can do them mixed with different colours just to make all the leaves kind of different. Okay, maybe we'll go for a bit of something a bit sultry to just drop into the bottoms of these. You can make them a little bit more interesting by spreading in another colour at the bottom. Shouldn't wait too long, really. Let's come in with a bit more yellow. This yellow, perhaps. And I want to, vary the colours as much as possible. So if I go to Indigo, you might be able to. And the other thing is, I will come in with another layer on top, actually, once these ones have dried. I'm not trying to plan this too much or decide on the colours too much beforehand. And what have we got here? More indigo. This is a kind of improvisational Christmas tree, right? As you can see, it's just made up of leaves. And when I thought of this because I've lived in lots of different countries, I'm going to make this one a bit darker, I think, up top here. I've lived in lots of different countries, and everywhere that we've lived that's been strange, I've kind of, when it's come to Christmas, struggled sometimes to find a Christmas tree. For example, years and years ago, when I was still quite young, I was teaching English as a foreign language in Germany, and the kids, my children were in England at that point. I was in Germany for a while, and they were coming over for Christmas, and I needed to find a Christmas tree, and it got to Christmas Eve, and I didn't have any time off, so I wasn't able to go and buy one. And in the end, I finally managed to get free, and I went to the local market, but it was so late in the day, they'd sold all the Christmas trees, so I wasn't going to be able to have a tree, and I was a bit disappointed. So I looked around, sadly, thinking, oh, I should be losing some of that. What am I going to do? No Christmas tree, the children will be disappointed. And I saw a big pile of junk in the corner somewhere, and I realised that amongst that junk there was a piece of Christmas tree. It was a big branch that someone had obviously cut off, and it was the top of a tree. So I rushed over and grabbed it, took it home, and I was able to improvise quite a good tree from this top of this tree. It was quite okay. So we had our Christmas tree after all, and it cost me nothing. So that was fun. So here we are, we're just filling in this tree shape with our random leaves. And come back to the indigo again and put a little bit more indigo in the corners of some of them. Ones which are still wet, and we can mix that with a bit of the yellow to make a really dark brownish colour. And dark greenish blue. Okay, so I will be putting in a few more over the top, another layer, but before I do that, I'm going to come in with, I think I might use a brush pen like this, just because I think it'll probably be easier. And I might use more than one colour. And I think probably, I'm not going to try and join them all up. In fact, maybe I won't do that at all. Perhaps, no, I think I probably won't do that. I was thinking that I would join up the leaves to make kind of, have stems on the leaves, joining them all together, but I don't think I'll do that, actually. What I'm going to do next is dry it. So I'm just going to try to, can I do this, I wonder? It's the downside of trying to, I didn't really want them to be inhibited at the edges, but anyway, never mind. A lot of motorbikes here. Okay. And so we're going to go over the top, or rather it might well turn out to be behind, with some assorted in various colours. And once I've got these colours over the top, we'll then do some, what do you call it, embellishments or doodles or whatever. I always feel very nervous about coming in over the top of what I've just painted, because I always feel sure that I'm going to make some bad mistakes and it will look terrible. but it doesn't matter. Okay, we're getting there. Okay, so then at this point, I think probably what we want to do is some berries. So we will find a smaller brush. Let me see what I've got here. Here we go. This one will do. And find a different palette. And I'm going to paint them in pink with a dash of vermilion and a little bit of, let me think. I haven't got anything there that will do it. I want some brown. I could mix brown with, I tell you what, let's use a bit of indigo and see what happens. And the more indigo you add, the mauver it gets. I wonder if that would work. Okay, a bit more pink in that. Yeah, that's the kind of colour I was thinking of. Let's see whether we can put in some nice. Going to have to dry it, otherwise we're going to have some runs. Okay, so we're going to do different colours, I think, and start off with this colour where we can. Don't worry too much about going over the leaves, it doesn't matter. Just scatter them around at random. Quite fun the way they go over the leaves, which they would in real life, of course, wouldn't they? That's gardeners you can hear outside, snipping away. We've got the painters in today, correcting some rather sad colours that we inherited when we moved in. We're not here permanently, by the way. This apartment is something that my husband invested in a long time ago when he was still working, and we always planned that we would come in the winter here, get some sunshine. Well, I'm going to stop at the very front here, I think, and do the next thing, which will be a bit of embellishment. So we need to grab our pens, and in my drawer here we have a concoction of different pens. This for now. And go a bit. And let's see what we can do. The other thing I have that I could use is white ink. This is something that I haven't used very much yet. It's Kuretake white ink. And I think it might be quite interesting actually to use because let's find something I can stir with. So at this one here, quite a nice fine line you can get with this ink. So that's quite good. I was a bit worried about these ones up top here because I thought they'd come out a bit clumsy, but they're not too bad. With the white on top. I think I probably would recommend this ink. I'm pretty sure I got it from Amazon. Yeah, I think I quite like these dark ones with the white veins on. You can hear the call to prayer. Must be coming on for 3 o'clock. Yesterday was the official opening of the Grand Egyptian Museum, the new ancient Egyptian museum down by the pyramids. So from now onwards, it's open to the public on a daily basis. It might be interesting. I'm going to go there when my sister comes. She's coming to visit us in a few days. And of course, she will want to see that. I came to Egypt and met my husband in 1989, completely by accident. At that time, the Kuwait War was on. I don't know if you remember, you probably do. And there was lots of anxiety about what might happen in the Middle East and so on. I was a teacher working in England at a primary school, and I was intending to quit. Anyway, so this particular summer holidays came round, and I thought, oh, I know what I could do. Instead of teaching, I could travel and do something abroad because I had reasonably good European languages. So I applied for and got a job with a company called Saga, who you have in America as well. I don't know if you have them in Australia or anything. And they were for holidays for people over 50, which at the time for me, I was about 35, seemed a long way off, but of course it wasn't. Anyway, so they sent me off on my first trip, which was to escort a group of 30 lovely American people. And I still remember some of their faces, actually, after all this time. It's half a lifetime ago. To escort them around Europe. It was a whistle-stop tour, as we used to call it, whistle-stop tour, going through France and Luxembourg, Germany, Austria, Liechtenstein, Switzerland, did I say Switzerland, Holland, all these countries, and back home. And that was exciting. The one thing I mainly remember about it was a couple who complained when they were given 2 single beds to sleep in instead of a double, or the opposite. I'm not sure which way around. It was probably the other way around. That would have been me nowadays. Anyway, so that was that. I got back and I got home and I got off the bus, basically, or the train, got back to the house, put my suitcase down, and the phone rang, and it was Saga, talk about fate, saying to me, we've had one of our tour guides drop out. So we've got a vacancy and we need you to fill it. Can you do it? And I said, I don't know. When? And they said, well, tomorrow. And I said, just walked through the door. And they said, well, let us know, it's Egypt. And I said, where? And they said, Egypt. And I said, oh, where's Egypt? And they said, well, it's kind of top end of Africa. So I said, well, I suppose it would be fun. So I did, and I went. And I didn't even know where Egypt was. So I didn't really worry too much about the war because the person had dropped out because they were afraid it was dangerous. Well, it turned out it wasn't dangerous from that point of view, but it did involve me getting tangled up with various and assorted things, including eventually my current husband. I say current. He is my husband. So that's that. I think I've made a bit of a mistake up the top here by doing this dotted line. So I'm going to change it. Changed my mind after having done that. So that's the way that's going to be now. Still doesn't quite match with the others, but you probably wouldn't notice. And then having done, I like that ink. I do like this ink, it's very good. I suggest you buy yourself some for Christmas. And now I think we probably want a black pen, if I can find one. Black or brown? I think I'm going to use the brown one first. This is 0.8. I'm going to go around my berries. So that was a very interesting trip. We flew to Cairo, obviously, British Airways. Arrived in the middle of the night, as you always do on that flight. Taken to a hotel. Hotel El Salam, Concord El Salam, where my husband works. I didn't meet him at that time. And, you check in, you're completely zonked. They give you lemon juice to drink when you arrive. It's all very nice. And so on and so forth. The next day we went downtown. We went to the then only Egyptian museum. It was quite interesting. So all the mummies, Tutankhamun's things. Could put some dots in these berries, couldn't we? And what else did we do? Got caught up by perfume sellers. I don't remember what else we did during the course of that day after we'd been to the museum. I think it probably took most of the day up, and then in the evening we checked in to... No, we didn't check in. We went for a meal at the can't remember the name of the hotel. Anyway, we went to a hotel and we were late. I don't know what happened. I think we'd been to the pyramids, actually. That was what it was. Museum in the morning, pyramids in the afternoon. Then we were late for our meal in the evening. On the rooftop, barbecue, blah, blah. Next day, massive stomach upset for me. That was so good. Anyway, now what? What am I going to do now? Is that enough? I think it might be. What do you think? Okay, well, I tell you what, I'm just going to look and I'm going to erase, if I can find an eraser, some of my pencil. I think this would make a jolly good Christmas card. What do you think? I think that would actually make quite a nice card. You could do it better than me. But it's the idea, isn't it? It's the idea. I can give you these ideas. I think I quite like that nice and light. I think the balance has come out okay. Probably could do with maybe one more leaf over here, perhaps. But I'm not going to try and do that now in case I make the white all go blurry or something. So I'm going to call that a day. But before I do anything else, I'm going to tell you about two really nice other channels that I've just recently discovered that I want you to visit for me. One of them is a lady who is called Claire, and her channel is called Purple Ladybird Art. And it's a lovely channel. She's got some lovely stuff on there. It's arty. She does everything from mixed media, acrylic, watercolor, etc., etc. She's been following our channel for a long time. And like all of us, she is having trouble with the algorithm and AI swamping us with all of their horrible artificial stuff that I don't know why everyone wants to watch it, but they apparently do. So anyway, I'm going to launch a campaign today, which is to encourage everybody to go and visit everybody else's channels who are good and genuine and authentic and honest and lovely. And every day, every video I do, and maybe even on posts on the channel, I'll be mentioning whoever I come across. So if you've got a channel and it's a little one and you're out there and you do watch us as well, do put a comment somewhere, anywhere, it doesn't matter where, I'll probably see it, and tell me how much you like this channel, and if you do. If you don't, tell me that too, and I'll go and visit you, and then I'll mention you, and hopefully a lot of people will go across and take a look at you, and hopefully that will help your channel do better. And the other, that's Claire of Purple Ladybird Art. Lovely channel with lots of outdoor stuff. She does a lot of plein air, outdoors painting. She's got a lovely dog, and it's just really, really sweet. It's a lovely channel. She's a lovely lady. These two that I'm going to mention are both English, and it's just pure fluke. But and the other person is called Paula, and her channel is called Stitched by Mrs. D. And she does all sorts of crafts, home cooking, home sewing, all sorts of things to do with being at home. And she's lovely too. She's got a big family. She lives in, I think she said, oh gosh, was it Lincolnshire? Somewhere in sort of mid to north of England. I think she said Lincolnshire. I'm not sure though. But anyway, you can find out. So she's Paula of Stitched by Mrs. D. And I know you'll love her channel too. So please support these ladies because they really deserve it. And tomorrow or the next time I produce a video, I will mention somebody else yet to be discovered. Can't find my brush. That is also yet to be discovered. What did I do with it? I don't know, honestly. But what I wanted to do was just quickly, I can find it. Oh, there it is. There you are, naughty brush. I just wanted to put something in this corner here. Okay, so that's finished now. So don't forget, as I said, Paula of Stitched by Mrs. D and Claire of Purple Ladybird Art. Give them a look, have fun, enjoy, take care, and most of all, do lots of painting and watch lots of authentic videos on YouTube. So I'll say bye-bye for now, everybody. Take care, be good, paint a lot. See you soon. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.